She wanna fly away, we gon' get fly today. Resorts, not no hotels, so we can hide away. Top tier, top echelon, this is a private place. Show me your private parts, I promise that you gon' get high today. Roll up that Mary Jane, pour up that takeaway. You were so used to those names, but now you a game today. Pull out that G-string out, we at the beach today. I was busy getting money, baby, but now I got time today. No stress, I'm so blessed. Pull out that lingerie. Oh yes, say that's slow sex. Tell me the time and place. No, I got time today. No, I got time today. Yeah. She wanna fly to space. Hop in the cockpit. You know that's my private babe. She stay in the pocket. Give me that pussy, you know that I like it. Say it's all about me. I am the topic. That's what you taught me. But you know it can stop me. They fly private jets, we in the rocket. No, I got time today. No, we got time to play. No stress, and we so blessed. Pull out that lingerie. Oh yes, that's slow sex. Tell me the time and place. No, I got time today. No, I got time today. Hey. I'm addicted, you're my baby. You insatiate me, you alleviate my pain. Gonna make it come down, gonna make it rain. Let me stroke under moonlight. Baby, set the moonlight down. Let me stroke under moonlight. Baby, let me love you down. Perdóname, madre, te quiero más. Dios te envidia como misa de las. Luna llena esta noche. Call me baby, I know you want me. By the way you're moving, don't stop girl, just do it. Mixed with black and Cuban. When you move this music, you insatiate me. You alleviate my pain. Gonna make you come down, gonna make it rain. Let me stroke under moonlight. Baby, set the moonlight down. Let me stroke under moonlight. Baby, let me love you down. Perdóname, madre, te quiero más. Dios te envidia como misa de las. Luna llena esta noche. Call me baby, I know you want me.
All right, get myself off of mute. Peace to the family. Just make sure I can hear myself all right. All right. Word life, son. We are in the building, man. I got a lot of information, and I personally feel like it's a powerful time if you have been tuning in and tapping into these downloads, to this information. Everything is going to start to make sense. However, if you just now tuned in and tapped into my channel, you don't know what I'm about to talk about, please just relax your mind, comfortize yourself, as I like to tell my children. It's early. However, you might catch this video in the evening, whenever, but just really understand that I'm trying to kick the most occult, metaphysic, esoteric knowledge known to man. And I want you to understand what I'm saying, and then look at the world externally, of course, but then look at the world internally, and then really find your power. Find your power through ritual, find your power through manifestation, and also find your power through connecting with the goddess energy. Because the reality is that this is what's happening out here in these streets. And you could be tuned in and tapped into the matrix, or you could be tapped in and tuned in to your spiritual development. And I promise you, tuning in and tapping into your spiritual development will not leave you in a negative space. It will actually save you. There is a soul within you, right? There's a truth within you, and that truth within you could be characterized as feminine. Feminine may be in the sense of woman, but mainly in the space of unseen, because the physical is not entirely masculine or male. The physical is also seen. So you have the seen and the unseen. My people, having a moment or two to relax, tune out from the matrix, tune into your soul, is one of the ways to tap into the unseen. And just because the seen is so visceral and so powerful and so awe-inspiring does not mean that the unseen is a level of meaninglessness. Have you ever been in a situation where people imagined you to be happy, or you should be happy, but internally you know that you're not actually happy, and you know this, but since everybody has this pressure on you, you can't particularly be in a vibration of truth about your frequency because of personal expectations. See, that energy is unseen. Feelings, emotions, vibrations, to the point that love is unseen. But love is a valuable, valid energy. But love is not limerence, where love is an external giving, right? Limerence is a internal expectation of what a person might do. So in our lives, family, we might say, no, it's all about unconditional love. It's all about what we give. But then you might want to receive the highest levels of spirituality. And this is the time. Because the highest levels of spirituality are unseen. But if we engage in this, there's going to be a pull towards you to deal with the, dare I say, seen world. And in the seen world, it's some crazy shit going on, right? In the external world, it's all types of crazy shit that you can't really quantify. You can't really put a word to it. And since we can't really discuss what's happening on the external, mainly because a brother can be censored, right? They can take your channel down if you talk about the external world in great detail, and then say how you personally feel, or even take some information that is valid and true, share it to the people about the external world. That should get your channel shut down. So I want y'all to think about this, family. How much information do you not know? But how much do you think you tuning in and tapping into some shit when you cut on your little device? But I'm telling you, I done put out videos that these algorithms felt like, oh, the people don't need to see that. And they come through with like a Ginsu knife. And it wasn't even nothing really crazy. It was artistic. You feel me? So you can look at that as a negative thing, but in the realms of spirituality, in the realms of deeper inner knowing, nothing is coincidence, therefore nothing is negative. So energies and emotions and reference to negativity, they don't really resonate with me on no level from nobody, except if it's from my youngest child, Jesse. Then I imagine that he needs some love and comfort, and so I'll give him that to balance him out because he's a little baby. But when it comes to grown-ass people and even my older children, it's very important that you understand your vibration and frequency and what you are bringing towards the collection. Because we all have to figure out how to live together. The first level is tapping into your unseen goodness. Because the physicality, masculine, patriarchal, seen world, the materialist world, without a sincere infusion of femininity, is a mess. It's some bullshit. However, it's very important that we bring this goddess energy into our physical world. And it's really tough being me. Let me just say that. Because even though I understand this, even though I can have a lucid conversation in reference to what I'm about to have a conversation in reference to, there is a level of familiarity breeding contempt. So let me just say, from here on out on this channel, I will be putting forth information. I will be putting forth spiritual technology. I'm not putting forth my personality. I'm not putting forth a point whether you like me or dislike me, because in reference to that, it might move you away from the information that I'm bringing forth. And so this time of building and hoping to be friends with people, I'm kind of shutting that point down in my life, unless a person can kick it to me on this technology in reference to building. And the reality is that I cannot dictate in no human being whether they connect with their soul or not. And in reference to a person wishing to connect with me or me wishing to connect with them is a level of external patriarchal masculine energy, to which it might, in the idea of a masculine thought form or physical form, it might sound good, but the deeper reality is that we need to fully integrate our psyche or psychology or soul into the relationship, or integrate our unseen energy into the relationship for it to be valid. So everything up until this point, family, has been patriarchal in thought. So me and my wife, we have been working. We haven't been really talking. We can't really share our ideas with the family as much, because generally a lot of the things that we do, say, and put forth are taken from us, repackaged and sold to other energies. And that's perfectly fine. But in reference to self-value and self-worth, we've been keeping things tight. And then we're moving forward and revealing these things moving into October. So we got a lot of exciting things planned for y'all moving forward. And I say all of this to say that It's very important that you tune in to the information that I'm about to bring forward. It's very important that you don't listen to this information passively. It's very important that if you are doing something, that's fine, but if you resonate with this information, re-listen to this video and take notes. Take notes and tune in and tap into your inner dialogue, because when we're talking about this spiritual technology, this is the technology to create the life that you absolutely want. And I guarantee you, if you take forth this information that I'm saying seriously and do your own due diligence and research and then implement and apply the information brought forth, you will change your life. Because in reference to you being a god, there is a technology to it. There is a science to it. Now, if you're looking at me and saying, well, Kyrie, I remember in 1996, you ain't have no shoelaces on, you was fat and used to smoke Black and Milds. I can't really take nothing you say seriously. Then you missing out on valuable information. Oh, Kyrie, you slid in my DMs in 2008. I can't really respect your information. Understand that this information has nothing to do with me as an ego or a personality, because that is representing the physical seen world. And as we know, the physical seen world is trash. Okay? Let's just look at the physical seen world as a table. If it's just a table, it ain't going to do nothing but stand in your way from empty space. Essentially, you need to have a purpose for that table, whether it is to sit down and to eat. Well, to sit down and eat, you need to cook. And then to cook, you need to get groceries. And to groceries, you got to do all of these particular things. You have a whole thought process of what you're going to cook for dinner. Then you take for granted the table is there, but everything in reference to that table is something that can be used for a particular function. And when you think about functions, these tie into needs, emotions, desires. All of these things are unseen. So without the needs, desires, emotions, and love, you wouldn't necessarily need nothing physical. So when we have unions, when we have relationships, the goal should be to establish ultimate bliss. If you go home and your wife's telling you to kiss your ass, if you go home and your husband telling you to kiss your ass, you really need to reorganize and rework some shit, because the point of the relationship is to become one. And what blocks most of us is that we can't become one because there's so much things that we have to do. We have to go to work. We have to do this, we have to do that, we have to do this, we have to do that. And so when you talk about establishing a level of goddess and God within your relationship, it's going to be hard because there's a lot of qualifiers. Well, he has to be 6'2". He has to make this amount of money. He has to do this, he will do that. And then the reality is that you get that person. The perfect person, you get that person. But essentially, what is the balancing and the maintaining, or what was the purpose of having all of these standards? The relationship ends up falling, or that person ends up leaving you, because relationships are about becoming one. And in order for us to become one, we have to become one with ourselves. So it's a very simple process to magnetizing divine love in your life, even if you already are in a relationship, or even if you are single. You develop a deep relationship with yourself. What does this look like? This looks like sometimes I just be driving and I'm overwhelmed with this feeling of love. And I'm just like, damn, Kyrie, I love you so much. And in reference to my wife or my kids or any girl that I've ever been with, I've never been loved the way that I've loved myself. Okay? So first off, that is the relationship that I hold with myself at all. So when I'm dealing with my wife, or I'm dealing with any other woman, or I'm dealing with my children, or I'm dealing with my family, I don't have the expectation of them to love me, because boy, oh boy, I really do have a deep passion for self. And so this is developing the relationship with the goddess. And the reality, family, is that a lot of people do not have this ability to look within themselves and say, man, oh man, I fucking love you, right? If they can't do that, because for them to transition would be to fall into an empty, voidless pit of darkness. And all that they have is the masculine world. And essentially, they need the soul energy. They need the divine feminine goddess energy to tune in and tap in to the matrix, to the physical world, to the masculine, to the patriarchy. But essentially, you do not find value in your fucking 9 to 5 in 2021 like you did in 2002, 2007. Isn't it amazing that from 2001 to 2020, you done lived a whole fucking career and life and done had kids and did all of this lifelong shit in this 20-year span that your parents took them 50 years to accomplish? So I say that to say, we going in a particular time warp, and this time warp or portal is the introduction of the divine feminine goddess energy for the first time in a long time, family. We have not seen the goddess yet. We've only seen the seen world. Now we get to see the goddess energy. Where does the goddess energy exist? The goddess energy exists within you, family. You are the portal to the greatness of all greatness in the world. I have a powerful message, and I really hope that you listen to it, because in reference to the things that I'm doing, the rituals that I'm doing, the 9 days of the goddess, tapping into this new moon energy, I'm going to do it. I'm going to post on the mystery school. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show and prove. I'm going to put it out there, but it ain't necessarily going to do nothing for you. But I got a lot to talk to. I got a lot to talk about and a lot of things to talk to. So without a further ado, let's get into what we'll be talking about. So we'll set up the energy for the week based upon the card of the week, based upon the overall energy we've been building with. You know, I live under the motto, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so when doing the research for the energy, guess who showed up and showed out? Mercury. So we're going to tune in and tap into what is Mercury at a deeper level? What is the staff of Caduceus at a deeper level? And it ties into Mercury and goddess energy. And I said, oh, wow, that's interesting. And even I woke up, I'm going to tell y'all, because I was going to tell y'all. I woke up and something said, you're going to do a Lakshmi ritual, but you're going to do a group Lakshmi ritual for the family and with the family. I thought of this, right? I just thought of this. I said, because I've never done a group ritual before. I never did a ritual where I'm saying I'm bringing wealth into a situation and that type of deal. I always thought that kind of shit was cheesy and corny for real, because I'm just like, do your own shit. But when I woke up, I had the strong urge and feeling to do this shit. You feel me? So because of that, you know, I was just doing research for the show, for the article. By the way, the article for this video is already in the description, so be sure to read it, or you can actually read along with it, because I modeled a video and article under the same format, but I just like to write it. First off, I like to study it, I like to write it, and then I like to do a video, and then I like to listen to it, then I like to listen to it again, because essentially I'm trying to download this information into my being. I don't like astrology, astronomy, spiritual talk, mumbo jumbo, where it just you just saying shit to say shit. I actually want it to make sense. And so as I'm doing my research, just so happens that after this new moon energy, there's a celebration called Navarati. And Navarati is a celebration of the goddess, right? Of the goddess Lakshmi, in reference into the astrological Sabian symbols that I studied. It was a word called emulation, right? It was an emulation. This is what the Sabian symbol for the conjunction of what we'll be talking about. So I was like, emulation. What does emulation mean? Hold on. Emulation, effort to match or surpass a person or achievement, typically by imitation. And there was something else that I was reading that was like, do it in a group. And it was like, I think it was the specific Sabian symbol. It was like a group of people trying to do something that somebody else had done. And I was like, long story short, I had the channel that I was going to do a 9-day ritual, and then come to find out it's the actual time to do a 9-day ritual towards the goddess. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready for that. I'm prepared for that, because I'm mentally, spiritually, everything was in alignment that, okay, I'm about to tune in and tap in from October 7th to October 15th. I'm doing 9 days of the goddess in the mystery school. And the alignment, the super crazy alignment, is October 16th, that Saturday, is the shadow work class. So I'm like, damn, that's kind of crazy when you really think about it. But in reference to alignment, everything is particularly aligned. So let's read. Let's get a setup for the astrology of the week. Why am I always talking about Hebrew stuff? Why am I always talking about this stuff about Hebrew and nobody else is talking about it? They'll talk about astrology, planets. In reference to planetary conversations at any level, you're not really sure that planetary conversations truly exist in real life, because everything in reference to planetary conversation relates to Hebrew letters. So if the astrological, planetary, occult, esoteric conversation at the deepest level always reverts to Hebrew phonetic correspondences and setups and things of that nature, then maybe it is all based upon Hebrew and not based upon stars. So if it is based upon Hebrew, then wouldn't we want to study Hebrew to get a deeper understanding of what the fuck we're talking about astrologically? Or do we just take our large followings and just lie to them, because essentially people don't wake up and say, I want the truth today. However, if you did wake up and say, I want some real information that I can sink my teeth in, congratulations, you done tuned in and tapped in to the actual source. So 3 mothers, Aleph Mem Shin. This is the part of the conversation that I'm like, okay, what is being said? And how does this relate to Mercury? Peace to the family. And I'm going to ask you a question really quick. Who is he? Okay? Who is he? Because this is taken from the Sefer Yetzirah, and they're always referencing the creator, the God, the almighty, magnificent, but they never put a face to a name. It's vague. But let's just imagine that we know who he is, right? Let me just not spoil it. Let me not build up any suspense. Let's just call he Mercury, right? However, let's just continue to say that Mercury is not a man per se, but an actual symbol for your pituitary gland. That makes it more personal. Therefore, you don't have to worry about some white guy, for a lack of a better words, holding a caduceus, riding around on a goddamn horse, or with some fly ass shoes, literally with wings, flying him through the air with this staff, tapping on people like that. You feel me? That's cool. But let's look at it in a real personal understanding. Therefore, you're not lost within the conversation. Therefore, you'll understand what Kabbalah is trying to say. You'll understand what everything is trying to say. Essentially, why would you relate any conversation in reference to a celestial influence to something outside of you, when you should be influenced or not influenced in reference to understanding the influence, as opposed to imagine that you can't be influenced? But I digress. 3 mothers, Aleph Mem Shin, he engraved them. Mercury engraved them. The pituitary gland engraves them. He hewed them out. He combined them. He weighed them. He set them at opposites, and he formed through them three mothers, Aleph Mem Shin, in the universe, and the three mothers, Aleph Mem Shin, in the year, and three mothers, Aleph Mem Shin, in the body of male and female. So, Aleph Mem Shin are the three mothers. And through everything that is created, it utilizes these three principles that are fire, air, and water. You utilize your passions, your mind, and your emotions in everything you do, whether you know it or not. And if you do not, absolutely tie into your emotional need to feel great, right? To feel wonderful. Your mental to be absolutely clear on what your emotional need is and not fucking clusterfucked, for a lack of better words. And essentially your passions in alignment in reference to liking or being passionate for getting to know the soul. So these three mothers are in everything that you do, or vice versa, may be the reason that you lack power over self. Finally, there are 12 simple letters. So you have the three mother letters, then you have the 12 simple letters, and then you have the 7 double letters within the Hebrew alphabet, and you add them all up and you get 22 letters. So these 12 simple letters deal with sight, hearing, smell, speech, desire, desire for food, sexual appetite, movement, anger, mirth, thought, sleep, and work. You understand that these 12 simple letters are not the end-all, be-all of reality, even though humanity puts forth these 12 simple letters as the end-all, be-all of life. There is actually a hierarchy above humanity called the three mothers, Aleph, Mem, Shin. These are the unknowable energies that are not unknowable to you. It is unknowable to the entity that understood your science, but understood that he could not give it to you. Only because I am disciplined and patient and focused on understanding this science called Hebrew without a rabbi, without a temple, because I understand that my soul is my rabbi, my body is my temple. To be patient and to understand and have the relationship with your soul, and to the point that you love your soul more than you love your wife, more than you love your children, more than you love your career, more than you love your relationships, is the ability to say that you can connect to your rabbi. So everything that you see externally would be symbolic of what is happening internally. The letters are emblematic. Now, I went to public school, and maybe you went to public school like me, and when I find words that I don't absolutely know the definition of, I look them up. Serving as a symbol of a particular quality or concept, symbolic. Ashe, we've already uncovered the mystery of Mercury, that it is symbolic to what? Your pituitary gland. I'm not going to leave any suspense to why Mercury retrograde is important in reference to any reality, is because your pituitary gland is your master gland. So it's very important to tune in and tap into the master within, as opposed to thinking that you don't have a master within. Thus, your master is your supervisor. your boss, your teacher, your psychic. That's a deeper level of the game. To which, if I was a spiritual person, I need y'all to understand this. I would know that you're not prepared to understand that you have all of the energies that you think within me, within you. I would charge you top dollar to talk to me if I was a spiritual person, because I know the value of the fact that your soul, you don't want to tap into your soul, but the worth of tapping into your soul has to be a $10,000 consultation. For you to in tune to yourself and talk to your inner self, that would cost $10,000 a session. The reality that your soul loves you so much, it gives it to you free of charge. But since you don't want to take up that offer, I gotta tax you if you want to get a reading from me. That's how it works. Because you could have been doing all of this shit by yourself for free. But since you want to come to me for something, then you could essentially tune into yourself. But you want to tune into me. So, thus, human beings, world and time, are linked to one another through the process of creation by means of the Hebrew alphabet. Because the Hebrew alphabet is symbolic to human processes. So when you not necessarily speak in tongues, but meditate on the Hebrew alphabet, understand how the Hebrew alphabet is set up. One second. And then from there, begin to reorganize your life in a deeper spiritual way by having a relationship with your rabbi, with your soul, with your higher self. And having a relationship with your higher self shouldn't be a matter of conjecture. It shouldn't be a matter of conversation. And it shouldn't be indicated by your relationship with your partner. It should be a matter of priority. The letters are emblematic of the 12 signs of the zodiac in the heavenly sphere, the 12 months, and the chief limbs of the body. Thus, human beings, world, and time are linked to one another through the process of creation by means of the Hebrew alphabet. So the deeper aspect to the Hebrew alphabet are the three mothers, Aleph, Mem, Shin, the unknowable, the unknowable, and the unknowable, to a specific breed of species of energy. When it comes to other particular breeds of energies, they can go within themselves, and that energy is not unknowable, is actually knowable as hell. Super knowable, and I can't wait to get to meet you later. Deeper analogies would be Ein Sof, or Ein Sof So when they say unknowable, they're talking about they'll never know it. Everything within our conversation is based upon gnosis, meaning that you know that you are the divine spark that created everything physical, meaning that you created your body or temple. But you are not the temple, you exist within the temple. The energies that show up in the Bible as Aleph, Mem, Shin, the three mothers, are found in Genesis 6, verse 6, and Leviticus chapter 5, verse 5. And I'm going to read these two verses, then I'm going to continue with our conversation. But I want you to understand these conversations that we're having and understand what is about to play out through this week. And if you tune in to the external, you will know what's taking place. But you wouldn't trip because you understand that you have the particular psychic ability to know what you don't know. because you have a higher self. You have a three mothers. You have a divine feminine energy. You have a knowable, I really know you, and I can't wait to get to know you later within yourself at all times. And this energy, if you want what it feels like, it is a deep love that you always wanted to experience from your boyfriend. You always wanted your girlfriend to treat you like this. So not even treat you, but feel this way about you. You have to begin to feel this way about yourself, thus activating the relationship, because the relationship of the three mothers is emotional, because feminine nature is very emotional. So to feel the love within yourself is you activating this goddess energy. Now, when we connect it to the Hindu Vedic perspective, you're going to understand that all of this is syncretized in reference to you do ritual to activate these energies within yourself. So is it ironic? Maybe. Is it coincidence? Possibly. Am I making it all up? That's possible too. But I'm just looking at all of this information like I cannot wait to share it with the family, because it's all in alignment. And it's all about activating your real power. And it's all in understanding technology. But technology in reference to observer may look like magic. Okay? So Genesis chapter 6, verse 6. The Lord saw how great man's wickedness on earth had become, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil all the time. The Lord was grieved that he had made man on the earth, and his heart was filled with pain. Understand this verse. It is saying how the Lord had created or put a particular entity and energy on the earth, and all that they thought about was evil all of the time. Understand what I'm trying to say, because I'm not trying to be disrespectful or blatant with energies for which are possessed within you. However, you need to understand that personally, people's evil energy don't have nothing to do with you. It's just that all day, every day, they have no connection to source. So having no connection to source, you can only think about evil all of the time. It's not a bad thing. It's like my computer being off, only showing a black screen the whole day. It's a result of not being connected to source, or to really want to connect with source. And what does source tell them every time they want to connect? Ein Sof, or. You don't know, you won't know, and you can't know. All you can do is be a custodial force, hold this energy until the rightful owners tap into it. And so the unknowable becomes the knowable. So this is a psychological war. Psychological means the study of the soul. So in reference to the study of the soul, they have to study the soul, when in reference to studying something, you have it. So why don't you study your soul? But you don't study your soul. Well, you could, essentially, but you study your soul by developing a deep love and passion for self. Leviticus 5. And it shall be, when he shall be guilty in one of those things, that he shall confess that he has sinned in that thing, and he shall bring his trespass offering unto the Lord for his sin which he had done. So it's like this turning point of understanding when the Bible references Aleph Mem Shin. It is like a great big Ponzi scheme that exists in the world, right? This great big Ponzi scheme that exists in the world, and there is a particular revenge aspect, the redemption aspect. So family, if you feel like the world has cheated you, brought you into a place where you ain't really supposed to be, your job making you do the things that you don't really want to do, your school making your children do the things that you don't really want them to do, but you feel forced. There is a level of doing that to the soul. Like, people cannot actually impart on the soul or the people of the soul for real. Like, you got to really think about how things can happen outside of you, but things can't actually happen to you. Then you can understand your grace, you can understand your protection, but sometimes you can be symbiotic with people who do not have that same grace, same protection, and you think what happened to them might happen to you. So in reference to what needs to take place, you could either watch what's happening to people who don't have your same grace, don't have your same spiritual height. What is grace? Grace is a person being 7 foot tall. You don't say, well, who did you sell your soul to get that tall? No, you just essentially accept the fact that some people are tall, some people are short. You make the best out of it. When it comes to spiritual grace, it is like that too. You can't argue a lot of times why you have grace. You accept it to be and you move forward. So, elongated setup, but it's necessary as we talk about the deeper astrology. This week is centered in manifestation, and this could be wealth, and it can border into greed. If you never had wealth, ain't no understanding of greed. So this conversation is for people who are trying to find the peace in their heart. Because you got to understand, the feminine energy can torment your soul. Because the feminine energy is within you. The goddess is within every human being. And so the goddess being within every human being doesn't necessarily mean that you feel great on the inside. Sometimes the goddess can do things like make you stay up all night. Make you just go fucking crazy, right? You ever just been fucking crazy, mad, angry? Well, that's the goddess. That's unseen energy. You can't put your hands on it, but now you feel like shit. So imagine being tuned in and tapped into the physical. You can create all of these things physical, but you can't do nothing internal. So what you see in the realms of celebrity, Instagram, likes, and things of that nature, you got to constantly do shit, right? You got to constantly wear chains, you got to always be triggered in the center of things happening, because within you is an empty void, and that empty void is the goddess. So you can't get caught up on what you see. You got to get caught up on how you feel. So what you will then see is, how could that person be that way or act this way, and they got all this money, they got all this success? Money and success do not equate to feminine energy. Sex is not feminine energy. Only way that sex could represent feminine energy if sex lasted for 8 years, right? Because you can go crazy for years, right? You ever been missing a girl? You ever been heartbroken over a relationship, right? For a long time, but you done had sex for 10 minutes? That feeling that you hold towards the relationship is feminine. That action that you have, having sex with that person, is masculine, because it's seen and it generally decays. So a lot of times when I talk about wealth, you also talk about sexual energy, because these things are closely related. So like I said, even the highest levels of success can exhibit stagnant energy. You could be so fucking successful, or used to be so successful, but also so unhappy, because part of success is developing a deep, loving relationship with your knowable soul. It is not an unknowable soul, or else it wouldn't necessarily be a concept that we would talk about if it was essentially unknowable. It is unknowable to some, because they've tried to access it and realize there is nothing there, so they would term it unknowable. Thus, they don't give you the thing to look for. When you look at a certain thing, they say, get the money, get the love, get the success. They never say, get the goddess within yourself, because they do not have access to it. This is a conversation based upon experience, but also based upon motivation and inspiration for you to tap into your knowable goddess energy, which will take place in reference to this week in new moon energy. And when the goddess resurfaces, it's going to be a lot of retribution, redemption. A lot of things will change this week. And one will say for the better or for the worse. It just depends on who you have or what you have inside of you. So make changes, but don't make changes based upon fear. Make changes based upon ritual. Make changes based upon understanding. Make changes based upon how you feel about yourself, based upon the actions that you do in reference to, if you love yourself, then show yourself that you love yourself by taking a bath, getting a facial, doing a womb sting, taking a walk, working out. Do the actual temple thing that say, okay, I really value you. I really love you, as opposed to thinking you do, but not having any actions to match, because Mars is a heavy player within this week, the planet of action. So the card of this week is the 10 of Discs, which represents a result. So if one understands their purpose, they live in positive results. When you are outside of your purpose, the equation would equate to negative results. And thus, it's hard to run from what you're supposed to be doing. Like if you are outside of your purpose, you can't really necessarily run from that except to running towards your purpose. But if you do not know your purpose, which a lot of people don't, that is the prayer. That is the meditation. To figure out, to find your purpose, and to trust that you will find your purpose by doing the meditation. You get a meditation, but you talk to yourself, but in a loving, understanding, perfecting, cleansing, clear way. Okay? So the 10 of Discs, if you see, it has the Mercury energy at the top 3. So you have the unknowable, Ein Sof or energy. It's playing out as a tree of life, right? The Sefer Yetzirah, the tool of creation. But then this was what caught my eye, the Malkuth of this card. And I seen the Aleph or the Shin, the Aleph and the Mem and the Rod. And I said, that looks like the staff of Caduceus. But it's interesting because this is a Mercury symbol. This is a Mercury symbol, and this is a Mercury symbol, and this looks like the staff of Caduceus. Mercury handles the staff of Caduceus. So the ruler of the card naturally is Mercury. The third deacon is ruled by the sun. The first deacon of Virgo is ruled, the first deacon of Virgo is ruled by the sun. The second deacon is ruled by Saturn, and then the third deacon is ruled by Mercury. The energy that we'll be talking about is the third deacon of Virgo, and Virgo ruling this, and Mercury retrograde, Mercury. But another thing about Mercury is that he wields the energy of Aleph, Mem, and Shin, the divine feminine energy. So the staff of Caduceus, the two snakes, would be the divine feminine energy that he's holding externally as a tool of power. So on the tree of life, Aleph, Mem, Shin hold the positions of Kethar, Binah, and Chokmah. These are the unknowable top of the food chain spiritual energies for which all energy manifests in this life. Shin is fire, your passions. Aleph, the fool, is air, the mind. Mem, Yesod, water, emotions. All of these energies play out in a straight line into Malkuth, because Malkuth is the physical reality, and all of these energies exist whether you know it or not. The reality of knowing this is to put some control in your reality, because it would seem as though your chief activities such as sight, hearing, smell, speech, desire for food, sexual appetite, movement, anger, mirth, thought, sleep, and work are dominant energies in your life. But when you actually get to the reality, those are not the dominant energies in your life. Your actual passion, your actual top of the food chain energy is what is your purpose? The thing that's going to excite you. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning, excited about getting here and sharing this video with y'all. Was y'all just excited to get to work this morning? I'm just asking. I'm not judging. I'm just asking. So, Aleph, air, the mind is all. Me and my wife got some interesting conversations in reference to all of this, but keeping things closer to the chest this time around. So, understanding these energies, this is the middle path to get to Malkut. You save time by dealing with these 12 single energies, because you're going to do all of that shit regardless anyways. Might as well tap into some real spiritual energy and live your life from a position of control, a position of spirituality, a position of deep understanding that you are God. And it doesn't make you better or worse. It just means that you're in more of control of who you are, because you know who you are as a non-physical being having a human experience. So, as above, so below is what they say. Aleph Mem Shin are energies that exist within Malkut. So, the seed, the sperm or ovum that swims in the water is the letter Nun. Related to the salt of the earth, the salt is a symbol of the element earth, which contains air, fire, and water. That is why in Kabbalah, we often name only 3 elements, air, fire, water, because physically speaking, we are Malkuth, the earth, given that the physical body is a crystallization of Nun, crystallization of the seed, which many times we stated in Aramaic means fish. Thus, Nun, sperm, and ovum as a zygote evolves and becomes a physical body like the one we have. So from nothing, we are able to create something. From a seed, we are able to create a massive explosion of life. And this is essentially creation. As above, so below. But all of these are code words for relaxing, meditating, doing yoga, tapping into, stretching out your pituitary gland. So, pituitary gland and relaxation. Stress is a normal part of life, but having a long-time health condition can make life more stressful. Relaxation is the opposite of stress, calm and confident, reduced tension. And these things, family, are absolutely what you need to activate yourself. With all that's going on, with the stress, with the this and the that and the that and the this, you have to really learn to go within yourself, but you're not going to be able to go within yourself if you stress over what's happening in the real world, because what's happening in the external is taking over what's happening. It's hijacking what's happening internally, and that essentially is the problem. So, above is the divine feminine energy, or mother letters, that are also found in the lower energy of Malkuth. This is emblematic or symbolic for activating our threefold inner goddess energy and wielding it like Mercury for our greatest culmination of riches, success, and purpose. Mercury wields the higher energies of the mother goddess, but he also exists as a real god. So these are all emblems or symbols for what we are internally when we master our emotions by understanding that we are the creator gods reincarnated but in a state of amnesia. Essentially, we must know who we are, but we know who we are by tuning in to our soul. So, new moon energy, October 6th. That will be, check the calendar, Wednesday. This Wednesday, we will have a new moon at 11:05 a.m. October 6th, we will have a new moon, and that night, Navarati begins. Navarati is 9 days of the goddess. These goddesses could be taken away or added, but I'm going to just say my little piece. This is what I'm going to be representing these 9 days. Each day is going to be purpose for this particular energy in reference to the goddess within me. I'm going to intentionalize it and ritualize it and follow my intuition of how these rituals should be every single day. But from the 7th to the 15th, I will start my day with giving honor to the goddess in 9 specific forms. You can edit this or you can take this exactly as I have it. But I'm going to start it off with Saraswati, the root chakra. And I'm going to have a day for wisdom, a day for expression, a day for communication. Then I'm going to go into Lakshmi. I'm going to have a day of splendor, a day of abundance, and a day of beauty. I might, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, do a face mask or something. I got me a face mask. I got a face mask too. I'm going to definitely use it this week for this ritual. You better believe it. Durga or Kali. Triumph, courage, and divine strength. So my 9 days of the goddess will be 9 days of celebrating these particular energies and these particular strengths that I have within me. And this is going to be my honoring and recognizing of the goddess within myself intentionally 9 days in ritualistic forms. I want us all to do it, but I'm not going to force your hand. So if y'all interested, just join at the mystery school. I will be posting 9 straight days of energy of referencing these goddesses and giving reverence and thank you and ashe and awaken these energies within myself, because the energy of Durga, triumph over evil, is what we need right now. We need to tap into this Kali energy, because Kali energy is the energy that will tear this shit down. So if you align with Kali, you also align with ultimate success, right? So let's read about Mahakali real quick, because she ties into the energy of Durga. I just want to spread some ashe to the divine feminine energy. I know this scares a lot of people, but it is not unknowable to us. This is knowable energy, okay? She is variously portrayed as Adi Shakti, goddess Durga, the primeval force of the universe, identical with the ultimate reality or Brahman, right? Okay. Prakti or world, as opposed to the male Purusha or consciousness, or as one of the 3 manifestations, Mahadeva, Durga, the great goddess, that represent the 3 gunas or attributes of Samakya philosophy, right? So in that, interesting that Mahakali represents the 3 manifestations of the great goddess, and we just got finished talking about the 3 mother letters, of Hebrew. Do you think that the 3 great goddesses and the 3 mother letters are 2 separate things? Or are we talking about a syncretized thoughts of understanding the deeper, unseen reality that exists within human beings that we refuse to tap into? A common understanding of Devi Mahatyama is the greatness of the goddess, right? This is what I'm attempting to activate within myself throughout these 9 days. She is described as an abstract energy, right? Brahma invokes her and she emerges from Vishnu and he awakens. She is the goddess of time. I'm so interested in what will happen when I invoke these 3 energies of the goddess throughout these 9 days. It might be like super scary. It might be some like real spooky stuff, but it's like, for me, it's like going to the ice cream store though. That's just my mindset. I know a person can look at it like, is he serious right now? But I'm so serious, and you be like, damn, I could be looking real crazy, but this is for those who looking for that thing. This is that thing. This is that portal. This is that awakening. This is that esoteric. This is what it's all about. This is what it all resorts to. With all of the pressure that's been going on with this whole situation, and people saying no, these people saying yes, and all of this is going to come to a head this week. And when it comes to a head, you'll see the rising of the goddess, because the goddess will awaken the God within you. But it hasn't happened yet, even though we think it has, because we read all of this shit. This is more of an experience. The great whore of Babylon, which takes place in Revelation, who had 7 heads and 10 tails and all of that. This is the revelation of the goddess energy. The unseen becomes seen. So let's explain this a little further. The moon takes place in the Hasta Nakshatra, and all of this information will be encoded in article form. The link is in the description. If you just want to get to the point of it all, I'm just doing this for the people who don't like to read. People who just want to watch videos and things of that nature. I want to do both. I want to write it out, present it, and I also want to do the video and present it. So, the Hasta Nakshatra means hand or hidden hand. This represents the energy of Savitru. But what is the hidden hand? The hand in waistcoat, also referred to as the hand inside vest, hand inside jacket, you can Google it, the Masonic gesture. It indicates leadership in a calm and firm manner. So tuning into the goddess energy is as simple as saying that we've already won. Don't evoke Durga if you imagine that you're going to lose. Don't evoke Durga if you tuned into fear. Because yeah, it's a vicious energy, but that's like having a pit bull. Yeah, my pit bull will bite you in the throat, but it's cool with me. It ain't going to do shit with me. It's going to get some biscuits or something like that. Going to just be my protector. So if I got fear in my heart, my dog ain't going to really understand that or like that. And it might even attack me if I'm afraid of it. So be careful if you actually, that's why I just put the disclaimer out there. If this look crazy to you, if this look batshit crazy to you, get off the video, because this is not a force. This is if you understand it. And I've given you hella context to get up to Durga by this point to understand that the knowable energy is very scary to a lot of people because it can vaporize their ass. It's like goddamn Akasha and the Queen of the Dam. She just walk around and point to motherfuckers. Psh, psh, psh. That's the energy of the goddess that's coming online this week. Too many correspondences for me to be like, no, this ain't happening. And y'all seen what happened last week with that sacrificial goat stuff and what they did to R. Kelly, but I digress. The deity. Boy, oh boy, you shouldn't have went to public school. You should have went to goddamn private school. You will learn how to spell a little bit. The deity that rules this Hasta Nakshatra is Savitar or Savitru, the one who rises. She represents protective and resurrected energy. This is a goddess, a triple goddess, a Ma. Isn't that ironic that she rules this deacon or this nakshatra? And then after this new moon energy, they go into the 9 days of the goddess. This has been in works for a long time. And we just get to witness the beauty of our soul come online. So what we may think, because we've made money in this system, because we got chains, because we got booties, or because we got surgeries to get booties, because we did scams to get money, that we fulfill our purpose. But we have yet to even begin life because we have never seen the unseen. When we get bombarded with the unseen, now we have a new purpose and a new life and a new understanding. So at the meta, because this may look like a drastic overturning of the guard at an external, but at a meta, you have to look at your life and develop new skills to synchronize with this new energy. You got to look at your life and say, well, I can do this, I can do that. How can I utilize these energies with this new energy that I'm in now? But you got to be ready to understand the soul. The soul is bringing you new energy. You can't just go into it with, okay, I'm going to do the same shit that I was doing 2-3 days ago now that I'm invoking Durga. I can't stand this job. You can't, if you hate the job, don't invoke Durga. Invoke Durga because you know you about to get out the job because you are the goddess and something better is coming for you on the other side. If you are a leader, if you are a professional, if you are successful, your skills have gotten stale. Invoke the goddess so your skills can reach the next level, so you can break that glass ceiling. We all climb, then we all reach the glass ceiling. So we got to obliterate that glass ceiling. Invoke the energy of Durga. Invoke the energy of Kali. Invoke the energy of the Divine Mother. Okay? Learning to take what you have and utilize the most out of it. That's the key of Mercury. That's the key of the pituitary gland. That's the key of understanding this energy at a deep understanding level, because you might think, I need this, I need that, I need to do this first, I need to do that first, when I'm talking about your pituitary gland, your master gland. So essentially, you do not need anything outside of yourself. So let's talk about the stars. Wrong video. Okay. So I just want to show y'all some things, like based upon the astronomics of it, why we say certain things, and also show y'all some cool stuff that's happening in the sky. As y'all can see, left to the earth, we got 2 comets passing by this week, right? And then we got a conjunction of energy, an alignment of energies. Very soon, Mercury will go back in line with the sun, Mars will line up with the sun, and we'll have a triple conjunction between Earth, Mercury, the sun, and Mars. And this is happening this week. You have all of this energy shining down on Earth that's hot, 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 hot. And hot is like, you know, I don't know how to explain hot on a spiritual term, but motherfuckers gonna want to take their clothes off, I guess. I don't know. But Earth will continue to move this way, right? And all of the other planets are moving this way, but it seems as though they're moving backwards. So as the Earth makes its way towards the Milky Way, Pluto is making his way towards Capricorn. Lost my train of thought real quick, but as you can see, Pluto will be going direct. So it's not as if these planets are going backwards. It's just that when you're going around this ecliptic and the Earth goes in certain turns in certain ways, it just looks like these energies are going backwards. You can see right now Neptune's moving like it's supposed to move, Earth is moving like it's supposed to move, but at a certain point it seems as though Earth is going backwards and Neptune is continuously moving forward, but Earth is just moving at a different angle and it just appears slower. We got 2 comets that are coming real close to Earth this week. So with comets are particular energies associated with the planet, and I'm gonna tell you, what they don't tell you about comets is that they drastically change the quality of understanding of life. Our major changes of life have always been flanked by comets, even down to 2020, it was all marked by the comets. And so the comet name was even Atlantis. So one more thing. Oh, that's probably it. Okay. So just wanted to show y'all an astronomical point of view and then show y'all the astrological point of view of what it'll look like this week. So we have a big new moon because the sun will conjunct the moon and Mars will be there for the conjunction. So whatever you're intending, be sure to put some action behind it, but you should be more centered in tuning in and tapping in to the energy of Virgo, which is the energy of the goddess. New moons are times to start over, live intentionally, and live a life you prepared for. It's very important to live intentional based upon your expectations because, like in Ein Sof, or all of these things exist in Malkuth. So you live intentionally because within your intention is the expectation. I'm going to build a building because I think that I'm going to build the building. I'm not going to build a building and I'm not going to wish to build a building and not be active and intentional in building it, or else it's just not going to be built. So this new moon will be in the third decan of Virgo, symbolizing fertility, manifestation, and rituals. The ritual will be for 3 days and honoring the 3 qualities of your 3 favorite goddesses. Another thing that will be happening the same time as the new moon, Pluto will be stationed direct. So as you see, the Earth is moving upon the ecliptic, Pluto moving upon the ecliptic, and it's just to the fact that as they move and the angles makes it look as though one is moving backwards and one is moving direct. They have reached an alignment that it'll both appear like they're both moving forward. Pluto will station direct at the cusp of Capricorn, bringing about change, specifically in authoritative matters. So what is the authority? Is your authority the divine goddess within, or is your authority your supervisor? Pluto is a small group of like-minded individuals that have large resources that share with each other and their families. In reference to a plutocracy, they start small and they grow larger than anyone in part of the plutocracy could ever imagine. It's how an acorn becomes an oak tree, and it's also how the archons rule the masses. As you can see, acorn, and I'm doing a little imaginative spelling, but y'all can get the gist with me. Acorn, archon, same word. So it's a small group, it's a small seed that has control over everything. So I say this to you. Will you create a plutocracy? Will you create a small group with yourself, with your soul, with your partner, with your friends, and grow with like minds? Or, like, if you don't have people, I know that some people are loners, they stay to themselves. I say go within with a purpose. Go within with a relationship to figure out how to personally transform yourself to the best self. But you do this by going within. In reference to going within is a power, it's an authority, it's an understanding, right? That everything is going to be what you want it to be. And if you do not have this self-confidence, self-worth, self-understanding, then you're literally a chicken without his head cut off. You just hoping that everything goes right because you watched the video, because you paid for a lecture, because you got a reading. You did all of this external shit for protection, and you did not tune in and tap into your soul. So for those who have done the work, we do have the real true 8-8 noble portal. Why do I say real true noble portal? Because very simply, October means 8. So August is not 8. August is the 6. August is the 6. September means 7. And October means 8. So on the 8th day of October, Mars, Mercury, Earth, and the Sun will come into full and perfect alignment. On the chart, you can see Mercury, Sun, and Mars in perfect alignment, and this third decan of Virgo making its way on over into Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So this triple conjunction takes place, as I said, of Mars, the Sun, and Mercury. And this, in a sense, is in the Sabian symbol of nobility. So to act and express and to think at a level of nobility must start in developing a relationship with the goddess, or else you're not really noble if you really think about it. And until you tap into the unseen world, you're not actually whole if you really think about it. You can know everything about the seen world, but that doesn't mean you know much. So being active, being vigilant of developing a relationship with the goddess will activate a personal worth in the goddess's army, a personal rank, a personal prominence. You're a general, you're a colonel in the army of the goddess. You are a spiritual warrior and you don't even know it. But this activation will take place this week. And it's nothing to be afraid of, because the reality of the goddess is that you already won. The goddess is too much of a powerful energy and entity that it's better to not know it. It's better to hide it. It's better to keep it from you than to actually get you to tap into it. Because once you tap into it, on many different levels, you are unstoppable. So it's not about who you are in the world. It's not about your status. It's not about your money. It's not about your chains. It's about who you are spiritually. And when you combine the divine goddess energy into your waking life, you will create a different type of aura about yourself. Your success rate becomes completely different. And essentially, you realize that you're never alone. And you have to develop this relationship of deep love, deep intent internalization of the goddess energy, because you just watching this video ain't enough. You have to continuously, persistently tune in with your inner goddess and express it, think it, and act it out in a noble way. This is the Sun, Mercury, Mars. Earth is your reality. So when you combine this divine goddess energy into your waking life, everything will be completely different for you. This is a portal. This is a portal of great luck and great wealth and great abundance, more than you could ever imagine. There is nothing to be afraid of. They want you to think that there's something to be afraid of, because in that realm, you are susceptible, because you are that powerful. You are so powerful to think that if you are inferior, you will be. However, if you imagine and in tune and tap into the fact that you are superior, that is true too. So in the ancient days, the swastika possessed a magic charm and shielded its possessor from danger and from harm. To you, it brings good wishes, and if I had the power, I would bring you all that life holds dear this very day and hour. So essentially, we're taking negative energy and we're alchemizing it to its ancient root of power and positivity in reference to the golden age and the positivity of our spiritual understanding of yesteryear. We have been in the depths of hell, the depths of purgatory, because we've been disconnected from the goddess. And as we begin this process of connecting to the goddess, we will be lifted up and resurrected in reference to this energy. So this is a more of a predictive reading. This is more of a reading into the future, and a deeper guarantee that if you connect with the goddess within yourself, things will work out for yourself. If you do not, then you will continue to deal with the fuck show called patriarchy, external reality, materialism, so forth and so on. This week on this channel, in the mystery school, and all of the things that we do, we're sending out the highest vibration of the goddess, and we're wishing the greatest reversions of fortune if you are down low and downtrodden, and also the continuance of success, and while breaking these generational curses. I'll read a couple quotes and I'm gonna send y'all home. God said, worry is inevitable, but I will fill you with so much of my love and peace that there will be no more room for fear. I want you to believe that I love you, and I won't let anything that scares you triumph over you. Understand that. It's up to us to break general curses. When they say it runs in the family, you tell them this is where it runs out. So be sure to sign up for the shadow work class that takes place October 16th. Sign up for the mystery school. Get any of the books if you haven't already. Stay tuned for a lot of the new things that we have coming for you guys. Very excited. But like always, I got more work to do. So I'm about to get into that. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. And with that being said, man, peace to the family.